What's up, YouTube? It is time for another video, and this one is going to be focusing on helping healers by informing and letting other roles and jobs know what they can do in a match to make your healers like easier, and kind of like how healing works in general. I hope this video will be somewhat informative, insightful, and eye-opening to those who were not aware of how healing works before, and make you aware of how your actions can affect your healer and how to help them keep you alive, basically. And without any further ado, let's get into the guide right away. First thing that I'd like to cover is line of sight, which is probably one of the most centric things about healing, and one of the cornerstones of what a healer should be doing in a match. To keep good line of sight to your team, to make your life easier, and also stay out of line of sight of the enemy team to be interrupted as little as possible. But yeah, like I said earlier, this is what you, as a person who is not a healer, can do. Because as much as it is about us keeping good line of sight to our own team, it is also about you guys being aware of where you're positioned, where the rest of your team is positioned, especially your healer, because we might not always be able to keep 100% uptime on the line of sight to you guys and follow you everywhere you go. Let's take, for example, that it might not be beneficial for you to be sticking to a target 100% of the time and never letting go, especially if they're kiting you around pillars and walls a lot and destroying your own healer's line of sight to you, because that makes it a lot harder for us to heal you, and it makes you a really easy target to take down. So basically, don't get baited behind walls a lot. It might be more beneficial for you to switch a target, get back, regroup, or something like that. Basically, it just boils down to try and be aware of where your healer is positioned most of the time and try and keep track of them so you don't break line of sight, to make us better support you pressure the enemy team. Then let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of why chasing down a target behind a wall, super fast and breaking line of sight, or chasing them down a bridge and breaking range is super bad for your healer. What you need to be aware of is that we cannot follow you at the same pace as you are moving, especially if you're sprinting, even if we were to use sprint as well. We need to move and stop sometimes to cast a heal, which means we're obviously going to lag behind if you're constantly moving and never stopping. Let's take two examples. One is behind a wall. Let's say we were a bit further back, and you quickly move behind a wall. Depending on how far we were from you and how far you are, it is going to take us about 1 to 3 seconds to catch up to you behind that wall. And then another 1 to 2 seconds to cast a heal on you. That gives the enemy team about good 5 to 6 seconds to damage you for free. And if they were intentionally doing it, debating behind the wall, they're probably going to kill you in that time. And there's really nothing we can do about it. So the second example, chasing someone down a bridge. Let's say the situation is you've just got a kill on the enemy DPS and they're getting back to the base down the bridge and you're chasing them. And even if you weren't using sprint and we use sprint, if we catch up to you for like a couple of seconds and we start casting a heal, if you're not stopping and you're just moving forward, you're going to break that range again and that heal is going to get interrupted, which means we're going to be behind again and we need to move forward yet again and try and cast another heal. That's going to give them another 5 to 6 seconds of free damage where we aren't able to do anything about it, and probably kill you. So these are like the things that you need to be aware of. Sometimes it might be the healer's fault as well. For example, if they're getting pressured and they move too far back, even if they don't need to, break line of sight or range to you and you die because of it. You know, unfortunate mistake, but it's a team effort, guys. Even if someone fucks up, you try and recover from that fuck up and try to help them recover to the best of your ability. You know, it's teamwork, guys. You know, doesn't matter who fucks up, just help the other person do their job the best they can, you know. And then we get into actually helping your healer. What can you do? Well, yeah, a couple of things to be aware of is your healer's debuffs, mana, and the chat, obviously. It's a bit harder if your healer isn't communicating to you through the quick commands, but if they are, these are kind of like the things to keep an eye on. The first thing that gives you a cue about the following things to check is if your healer is spamming retreat. Okay, first, probably check if their MP is okay. If they're 1k MP, probably get back, since they probably mean that I don't have any MP regions coming up or lining up, and I don't have enough MP to keep you alive. So please get back. Second, if you see a stun or a sleep on them, and you also see the command purify is not ready, probably means purify them or get back. Because they're probably trying to communicate, hey, I'm getting interrupted and I can't heal you effectively or keep you alive, so you might die if you're not getting back. You know, basic things, but about a bit harder to keep a track of if your healer is not communicating with you. But if there are, these are kind of like the most basic things that you can expect what those commands mean. And especially with the MP thing, you know, bars and machinists, please use Mana Song or Report. Those are the PvP skills that you are given to restore healers MP, or anyone's MP, but mainly healers. And please, for the love of God, if your healer is spamming retreat, please get back. They probably mean it seriously. They're probably not joking, you know. And if you die after your healer has been spam retreat and you haven't retreated, it's probably on you. Don't spam. Good job. Thanks. And on the side note, since I mentioned Purify, you can use it on other people as well, so it's not just exclusive to you. If you see your healer getting stun lock or set lock and you notice that they're spamming retreat and Purify not ready, you might want to Purify them. You know, team effort, guys. And then lastly, the zones and areas on the maps that are hard to heal in and super taxing on your healer. Basically, those are both of the bases, especially the enemy base, and both of the bridges, and here's why. First off, there's no cover whatsoever in any of these areas, aside from your own base, of course, but for obvious reasons, you don't want to be running up to the enemy base to get cover. And without any cover, you're going to get a lot more damage, since you have no effective way of cutting the enemy team or line of sighting them, which means you're going to heal a lot more. And that means, since it's a lot harder to heal without line of sight and in that compact space, it is going to unnecessarily draw out healer cooldowns, which is bad for us because we might need them for something else later. And also, the further you go, the further we need to come, and that means that when shit hits the fan, the further we need to run back when eventually we need to get out. And that makes the following points a lot harder for us. The further we move up, it is a lot easier for the enemy team to interrupt our casts, or stun us, or swap on us. And also, when shit does hit the fan, you can just run straight out. You don't need to stop for a second. But if since they're pressuring us, obviously, since we need to get back, we need to stop and heal, which makes it really easy for the enemy team to target us, since we're further back and probably can't move away as effectively, especially if we don't have any cooldowns left. So these are kind of like the things to keep in mind about the areas that you don't want to be fighting in, because it makes it really hard for us to heal you guys and keep you guys alive. So keep these things in mind. And the next up, we are going to cover kind of role specific things that you should be looking out: tank, melee DPS, and range DPS. So let's get into that. Starting with the tanks, first thing I would like to point out is constantly being in a fight and never letting go of the enemy team, which is bad. Why? There's very little reason to always stay on the enemy team, especially this is in a scenario where they've obviously gotten way back after death or just in general, especially if it's just you staying on them. What that means is you're a constant MP drain on the healer. You're never letting them kind of like get MP back naturally or reset after an engagement has ended. And especially true if you have multiple metal stack, like 1, 2, well, maybe not 1, but like 2 or 4. That is going to drain even more MP out of your healer. And also, there is very little to gain from doing that. You're not this unstoppable force that the enemy team will have to push through before they can get back to the middle or the center of the map. They can just walk past you, or whatever, you know, like they could. You're not stopping them actually from getting back. You're just training your healers MP is pretty much all you're doing. Also, the second point that I want to make is medals. Maximum that you really want is 4, which is 200 medals. your job is not to get 10 stacks. You see it a lot in the lower rankings, and that's not your job. 4 stacks is maximum for tanks. Really, any more is going to just absolutely destroy your MP if your enemy team knows what they're doing. And also, since you're probably the best role to deal this, help your healer out a lot. Or not a lot, but keep in mind that you're the best person to help your healer out. With CC, getting the enemy melee off of them, or even the enemy tank if it's a warrior, and giving them a breather. Something like Mithril Tempest from warrior, or just stun locks from paladin will help out a lot. And depending on the job, you're probably the best one to do it, especially if you're a paladin. Less if you're a warrior, and like second best is Dark Knight with their constant binds. Goes for the other jobs as well, but like I said, you're probably the best one to do it. Melees are pretty much in the same category as tanks with this one, which means that don't stick to the enemy team all the time. You're just going to be a MP burden on the healer, and there's very little to gain from it, just with the tanks. So basically just don't do it. Also, but like the only major thing that I can think of really from melees is blood to blood. Be mindful of it because you're going to take a lot more damage when you're using it. So if the enemy teams know what they're doing and they see you pop it, you're probably going to be a high value target for them to take down. So have a macro or something to cancel it early if it looks like you're taking a lot of damage, or line of sight or something like that. Even if you are one of the 2 damage dealers in the team, it doesn't automatically mean that you should constantly be on the enemy team doing pressure or doing damage. You know, you can help out your team, especially your healer, with a like well-timed stun on the people who are pressuring your healer. So do keep that in mind. You don't always have to be looking out for it, since the tank is probably the best one, or the range is probably the best one to do it, but just keep that in mind that you can always do that as well. And then lastly, we get into the range spot, which let's cover the 2 physical range DPS, which are Bard and Machinist, that are currently very strong in the meta, and quite a lot of people play them. But I'd say about a rough estimation of 95%, which is not an exaggeration by the way, never use their MP utility, aka turret that restores MP, Mage's Ballad, Mana Song, or Report. I rarely, if ever, see them use it, which is really unfortunate because it's one of the things that will help out your healer the most out of all the roles, especially if your healer is low MP. Mana Song or Report, which are the PvP abilities Bard and Machinist get, don't cost anything. They're instant, and why not use them? You know, like, be aware that you can help out your healer by restoring their MP. Also, Mana Song and the turret that restores MP, use them when you're not in a fight, you know, every single time. Why not? You're making your healers' life a lot easier. They can save their MP regions when they actually need them. So, you know, keep that in mind, please. And then the 2 casters, which Black Mage is really good and effective at peeling off of your own team and keeping your own team safe with sleeps, binds, and slows. For example, if your healer is getting pressured a lot by the enemy tank and melee DPS, you might want to bind them or sleep them to get them off of them and give them some breathing room to heal people up. You know, you don't always want to be using your skills offensively. You might want to start thinking using them defensively as well, because it is going to make your team's life a lot easier, especially your healer. So keep those things in mind. You can use your skills and CC in a variety of ways. Summoner, on the other hand, they really only have the AoE bind, I'm pretty sure. But you can use that, you know, defensively as well. A bit harder than Black Mage since you only have 1 and it's on a cooldown. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, someone, you know, correct me on that if I'm wrong. But those are pretty much the role and job specific things that I can think of. Please do add in the comments or whatever if you do have any other tips. But that's it for my tips. So yeah, the goal of this video was basically to just inform and give some insight how healing works and how you can make your healer's life a lot easier, aka make you win more. You know, everyone wins. But yeah, like, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Any tips you might want to throw people's way that I didn't mention here that you thought are pretty useful. Like if you liked the video, dislike if you thought it was absolutely terrible. Subscribe for more content. I'm trying to get 2 more videos out this weekend and then 1 more when the new season starts on Tuesday or like latest Wednesday. I'm aiming for that. So 3 videos within the next 3 days. So look out for that in the very near future. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a great one. See ya.